I once believed that silence could protect love, that if I walked away quietly, I could save the person I loved most from pain, but I was wrong, and by the time she finally reached out her hand again, it was already too late. My name is Daniel, and this is a story about the love I left behind, and the price of not speaking your truth. Before time runs out, back then she was called Elise. She was brave, driven, and sharp-tongued. But when we were young, she was simply the girl who held my hand in winter and smiled like she believed in forever. We met when life was poor but simple. We were just two college students in love, holding on to small dreams with big hearts. On my birthday one year, Elise handed me a small velvet box. Inside, a cross pendant. She had worked 3 days in the cold to buy it. Her hands were red from handing out flyers. Her lips were dry from the wind. "It's not much," she said, "but you're worth it." I still remember the way she looked that night, more beautiful than the bouquet she held, more precious than any words I could say. But happiness is fragile. My mother fell ill suddenly. A rare condition inherited, no cure, no mercy. Doctors said it could be passed on to my children, and that I might not live past 30, so I left, without a word, without goodbye. I thought I was protecting her. I thought I was giving her a chance at life, but all she saw was betrayal. Years passed. Elise became someone else, successful, powerful, unforgiving, and one day she found me again. "You left me," she said. "But now I'll decide when you go." She forced me to marry her. Her voice was cold. Her eyes filled with a kind of anger I didn't recognize. She had lovers, many. Sometimes she brought them home just to hurt me. Sometimes she laughed in front of me, like I was invisible. But what she didn't know was that I was already dying. Every breath burned. Every step was harder than the last. I had months, maybe less, but I never told her. I didn't want her pity. I just wanted to disappear quietly, like I once did. One day I asked her for money. I needed the pain medication. I could no longer sleep. My body felt like it was on fire. She stared at me and said, "I'll give it to you if you kneel and beg." I smiled gently. "No," I said, "I can bear the pain, but not this." I walked away, trembling from the cold. That night I dreamed of the past, of her arms wrapped around me, of red velvet cake on my birthday, of her voice saying I deserved the best in the world. In my sleep I whispered, "I want a bouquets and red velvet cake." When I woke, Elise was there. In her hands, a peony bouquet just like before. On the table, a large red velvet cake with candles. She said nothing at first, just stood staring at me with eyes I couldn't read, and then she whispered, "I bought these for you. Can't we stop fighting?" For a moment, I felt like we were young again, like maybe, just maybe, there was something left between us. But I pushed the cake into the trash, dropped the bouquet beside it, and I said, "It's too late." She screamed, angry, heartbroken, confused. "You always oppose me," she said. "You always run away." And then, like a storm, she kissed me hard, painfully, desperately. "I waited for you to need me," she sobbed. "I waited so long to hear you ask for something." But I couldn't love her like before. Not now, not when time was slipping away. I looked into her eyes and said, "Elise, I'm dying." She laughed at first, called it a joke. But when the blood from my nose wouldn't stop, when my hands began to shake, her smile broke. "Please," she cried, "don't say that." But I didn't need to say it. The truth was already all over her hands, red and warm and undeniable. She tried to fix things, called doctors, specialists, offered money, begged for a cure, but there was nothing they could do, nothing anyone could do. It wasn't anger I saw in her anymore. It was regret. "Why didn't you tell me?" she whispered. "Why didn't you let me in?" I said nothing, because the truth would only hurt more, that while she laughed with other men, I was alone on the bathroom floor, bleeding, shaking, waiting for the end. Later, she sat beside me in the hospital, holding my hand, and then she told me she was pregnant. "It's yours," she said. "I never stopped loving you." But I couldn't feel joy, only fear, because my illness is hereditary. I couldn't bring another life into the world with the same curse. "We can't keep it," I told her, and I saw something inside her shatter. She broke things off with the others. She started acting like the girl I used to know, but I was too tired, too far gone. She brought back the pendant I gave her long ago. It was cracked, but she had glued it back together. "Happy birthday," she said, smiling through tears. "I made red velvet cake." But I couldn't eat, couldn't speak. I only whispered, "Thank you." In my final days, I asked Jessica, my oldest friend, the one who stayed by my side through everything, to take me to my mother's grave. I leaned against the stone and whispered, Mom, I'm coming home. Beside me, Jessica cried, but I smiled. I wasn't afraid anymore. I had said goodbye, and this time, I didn't leave without explaining. When I passed, Elise collapsed. She stopped eating, stopped sleeping, told everyone he would come back, told them she just needed to wait, but I didn't return because sometimes we only realize what we had. When it's already gone, they say love is patient, they say love forgives. But love also fades. When it's pushed away too long, if you love someone, tell them not tomorrow, not later, now, before it becomes